Have you at any point ended up in a circumstance where you detected that others didn't focus on? Have you ever had a situation in which your great ideas, valuable contributions, or accomplishments were not recognized or credited? Being in such a situation can be difficult. Tragically, in any event, when you act properly, go with choices for everyone's benefit, and make yourself accessible to other people, your value might slip through the cracks or be purposely disregarded. Industriously attempting to satisfy the people who neglect to perceive your endeavors can prompt bafflement, and redressing what is happening can demonstrate troublesome. This feeling is especially demoralizing when it includes cozy connections, like family, companions, or an accomplice, as per emotionless way of thinking. Expecting acknowledgement from others is purposeless, all things considered unchangeable as far as we might be concerned, and may not emerge. Hence, it is exhorted not to hang tight for it, as doing so can prompt dissatisfaction. Nonetheless, there are strategies to turn into a need and earn respect, possibly. By getting it and applying the approaching guidance, accomplishing this outcome is achievable. These 9 stages offer direction on the most proficient method to reliably be vital in the existences of those you care about. Now that the issue is clear, now is the right time to change your methodology by learning the arrangement. We should begin before we dive into the means. I encourage you to watch this video completely, as each step holds importance. Stage 1. Developing the feeling of dread toward losing you through profound elements. The mental rule of misfortune abhorrence attests that the apprehension about losing something is much of the time more powerful than the charm of acquiring it. Utilizing this rule decisively can altogether affect how others see and focus on you in their lives. Via cautiously creating a climate that encourages a feeling of likely misfortune, you invigorate a more profound close-to-home interest in keeping up with the association. The core of this procedure lies in the purposeful presentation of close-to-home distance. This involves a deliberate change in your conduct set apart by a decrease in the sharing of individual sentiments and confidences. By restricting the profound closeness that was recently settled, you present a component of vulnerability, inciting the other individual to rethink the association's significance, all the while differentiating your time and consideration among others. Serves to show that you're not just focusing on the person in question. Effectively captivating with a more extensive group of friends imparts that your life is complex, and that you get satisfaction from different connections. This enhancement unpretentiously imparts that the other individual isn't the elite focus of your reality, while the feeling of dread toward misfortune system can be strikingly compelling. It requires artfulness and a sharp comprehension of the sensitive harmony between making a need to keep moving and staying away from complete close-to-home separation. Extreme removing might lead the other individual to decipher it as lack of engagement or relinquishment, possibly obstructing any endeavors to revive the association. Accordingly, the key lies in utilizing this strategy prudently and with some restraint. Before implementing this strategy, it is essential to take into account the individual's emotional sensitivity as well as the nature of your relationship. Understanding the other individual's personal scene permits you to tailor your methodology, guaranteeing that the apprehension about misfortune is quietly presented without causing irreversible harm. Finding some kind of harmony between making a need to keep moving and keeping an establishment for reconnection is the sign of powerful application in exploring the complicated elements of human connections. The essential summoning of the feeling of dread toward losing, you can act as a strong impetus for restoring need via cautiously coordinating close-to-home elements. By presenting a deliberate level of distance and differentiating your social scene, you brief a reassessment of the association's worth. This mental methodology, when utilized sensibly, can make ready for a recharged and focused-on relationship. Stage 2. Hoisting your worth through developing inaccessibility in connections. The rule of higher standards without compromise resounds profoundly in the multifaceted scene of connections, accentuating that the profundity and meaning of associations frequently outperform the sheer amount of time spent together. Developing inaccessibility decisively lines up with this standard. introducing a nuanced way to deal with situating yourself as a certifiable need in somebody's life. The idea of higher standards, no matter what, suggests that the worth of your presence in somebody's life is upgraded by the profundity and seriousness of your cooperations, as opposed to the sheer accessibility of your time. While being available and open is essential, being overly available carries an inherent risk, the possibility to be underestimated. The objective isn't to turn out to be no doubt unavailable, except for to find some kind of harmony that emphasizes the significance of your presence. The development of inaccessibility doesn't propose unbendingly directing the provisions of your accessibility. Rather, it highlights the significance of focusing on your necessities inside the relationship, assuming that steady changes in facilities describe your connections. It becomes essential to recalibrate and guarantee that your accessibility lines up with your individual prosperity. This recalibration sends a strong message about self-esteem and the significance of common regard. A crucial part of developing inaccessibility is conveying a feeling of freedom and a daily existence past the relationship. This doesn't suggest separation or lack of engagement, yet highlights that your reality envelops different features. By exhibiting an autonomous and satisfying life outside the relationship, you impart that your time is important and not ceaselessly sitting for their consideration. This unpretentious change in discernment improves the apparent worth of your presence. Finding some kind of harmony is vital to the outcome of this technique. It includes keeping a degree of openness that encourages association while staying away from an overabundance that lessens your apparent worth. The objective is to make a dynamic where your accessibility is a cognizant decision, supporting the meaning of the time you spend together. The essential development of accessibility builds up your worth inside the relationship. It raises the other person's awareness of and appreciation for the distinctive qualities you bring to the connection, resulting in a deeper appreciation. This nuanced approach urges them to focus on and search out your organization effectively, perceiving that it's anything but a consistently present where, in the many-sided dance of connections, developing inaccessibility fills in as a strong methodology to raise the apparent worth of your presence by exemplifying the guideline of better standards without compromise. Focusing on your necessities and conveying a daily existence past the relationship, you position yourself as a certified and esteemed need. Finding some kind of harmony among openness and freedom guarantees that your presence is checked, cultivating a more profound and more significant association. Third phase, creating interest by embracing a sprinkle of secret in connections. Relationship dynamics are significantly influenced by the human propensity for fascination with mystery and enigma. Uncovering the unknown entices and sticks in your mind for a long time. By decisively consolidating a component of secret, you can top the other individual's interest and lift your remaining in their eyes. The way to utilizing secret is in the specialty of continuous self-divulgence. Rather than uncovering everything about yourself forthright, offer inconspicuous clues about your leisure activities, interests, and encounters. This deliberate methodology permits the other individual to participate in a course of disclosure, encouraging a feeling of energy and interest in getting to realize you better. Another powerful procedure is to answer inquiries with a level of dubiousness. While certified correspondence is fundamental, foregoing disclosing comprehensive subtleties promptly adds to the quality of a secret. This method piques the other person's interest and encourages them to spend time and effort deciphering your lies. In the early stages of a relationship, it can be dangerous to delve too deeply into your past. All things being equal, practice limitation in investigating previous encounters and permit the unfurling of your set of experiences to be a continuous cycle. By making a story that keeps the other individual connected with and captivated, the general goal is to support interest over the long haul by keeping a component of secret. You support a continuous interest in your persona. The other person is encouraged to view you as a priority that is worth investing time and effort into, embracing a hint of mystery, as the gradual unfolding of aspects of your personality keeps the connection dynamic. Decisively positions you as an enamoring presence in somebody's life. The cunning equilibrium of self-revelation, weakness, and limited investigation of the past make a connecting with story that encourages interest. As the other individual turns out to be progressively charmed, the probability of being seen as fundamentally important in their life develops, establishing the groundwork for significant and persevering through association. Stage 4. Supporting prioritization through smart speculation. At the core of this step lies the affirmation that people are bound to see you as vital when they have made huge interests in your association. This is where the idea of reciprocity comes into play. People are more likely to consider the relationship valuable if they put in their time, energy, and feelings. The test lies in finding some kind of harmony to cultivate speculation without making profound distance. Permitting somebody to focus intently on you turns into an intense system to incite prioritization by every so often declining plans. You create a situation in which the other person must work hard to get your time. This deliberate methodology conveys that your time is important and not effectively open. The unpretentious craft of causing them to burden event adds a component of challenge, inciting them to rethink and focus on your presence. A vital part of this technique is keeping a cautious balance while empowering speculation. Making extreme distance is similarly significant. Not finding some kind of harmony includes a dance of accessibility and inaccessibility, guaranteeing that the other individual feels the test without being overpowered. Modesty is essential. Staying away from limits forestalls potentially negative results and cultivates the ideal result of being seen as vital. The careful application of this strategy is critical to its success. Taking to drastic courses of action, either by reliably being accessible or by excessively removing yourself, can prompt potentially negative results. Unnecessary inaccessibility might drive the other individual away, neutralizing the objective of cultivating prioritization. Utilizing this tactic in moderation is the art. Making a sound powerful that empowers speculation without making close to home distance. The deliberate making of challenge frames the core of this approach is that by permitting the other individual to put resources into you with a level of exertion, you lay out a feeling of challenge that prompts them to reconsider and focus on your presence. This unpretentious change in powerful adds to the view of being an esteemed need, making a situation where the relationship holds more prominent importance because of the contributed endeavors. Empowering somebody's interest in you is a fragile yet strong system. Chasing being seen as really important. The elements of correspondence, time as a significant money, and the foundation of difficulties assume essential parts in this nuanced approach. Insightful administration, finding some kind of harmony, and staying away from unseen side effects are fundamental components that add to the ideal result in the domain of connections. Elements encouraging venture turns into an essential instrument for developing associations, where prioritization is a characteristic result. Stage 5. Lifting self-esteem through focusing on your requirements in connections. Focusing on your necessities is a self-confirming demonstration that requires an unmistakable qualification from narrow-mindedness. If you are aware that someone will not treat you with the respect that you deserve, it requires you to make deliberate choices to avoid situations in which your worth is diminished. Avoiding such relationships means prioritizing your needs. The goal is to develop conditions where your inborn worth is recognized and responded. Recognizing and strategically avoiding situations in which your value is compromised if a relationship or connection consistently fails to honor your word is an essential part of giving your needs priority. Making a stride back turns into a demonstration of dignity by limiting any association with discourteous or pompous collaborations. You set the stage for the perception that you are important. Encouraging associations with the people who truly esteem you to turn into a need in somebody's life. Basic to encircle yourself with people perceive the prioritization of your requirements. Significant associations flourish with shared regard and acknowledgement. Picking connections where the two players effectively focus on one another establishes a climate helpful for authentic associations. This approach adds to the view of being an esteemed need according to other people. Perceiving that you can't direct someone else's sentiments is an essential part of focusing on your requirements. While you can impact the elements of a relationship, you don't have direct command over how others see or focus on you. The concentrate hence moves to encouraging self-esteem and self-discernment. By recognizing this limit, you enable yourself to shape connections in view of shared regard. as opposed to endeavoring to control outer discernments to be really important in somebody's life. The primary step is guaranteeing that you hold a position of need in your own life. This includes developing a powerful self-discernment and perceiving your intrinsic worth when you focus on your requirements and effectively participate in connections that respond this prioritization. You add to a positive mental self-view. This confidence turns into an attractive power, drawing in associations that appreciate and focus on you. Focusing on your necessities and connections is a multi-layered system that goes past personal circumstance. It includes pursuing cognizant decisions to encircle yourself with people who respond your prioritization by decisively staying away from rude circumstances and encouraging a positive self-discernment. You lay the preparation for being seen as vital in the mind-boggling embroidery of connections. Focusing on your necessities turns into a foundation for developing associations that honor and worth you. Stage 6. Creating or through a reasonable distance. Human brain research is frequently captivated by what appears to be slippery. A well-known phenomenon is the principle of scarcity, which states that desire rises when perceived effort is required. The thought that the grass is consistently greener on the opposite side embodies the human propensity to be attracted to what seems impossible, making an interpretation of this into relational connections. This step empowers utilizing the charm of the out of reach to elevate the other individual's fascination with your attendance at its center. This step underlines the essential evasion of making somebody indisputably the focal point of your life. The goal isn't to encourage profound distance, yet to convey that your life is complex and doesn't spin exclusively around their presence. This intentional methodology flags that you are not frantic for their consideration, making a situation where the other individual starts to see the value in your worth more. After some time, keeping a specific degree of separation turns into an essential device for uplifting fascination. It doesn't suggest total profound separation, yet rather a reasonable methodology where your life incorporates various significant components past the relationship. This distance, when insightfully made due, goes about as an impetus for escalating the other individual's longing for your presence as the elements unfurl. The deliberate evasion of making somebody the focal point of your life cultivates a climate where they start to profoundly see the value in your worth more. The acknowledgement that your life incorporates different viewpoints past the relationship makes a feeling of interest and want. This continuous appreciation adds to the regular development of being seen as fundamentally important. The way to effectively carrying out this procedure lies in keeping a fragile equilibrium. While the objective is to try not to make the other individual the sole concentration, making unreasonable profound distance is critical. Not striking the right harmony includes smart route, guaranteeing that the distance improves fascination without prompting potentially negative results. Creating charm through a reasonable distance is an essential move toward the quest for being seen as really important. Understanding and utilizing the unreachable, keeping away from urgency for consideration, and decisively overseeing distance add to the effective execution of this methodology by developing appreciation for your worth and keeping a fragile equilibrium. This step turns into an incredible asset for molding relationship elements, where prioritization is a characteristic and wanted result. Stage 7. Key retreat in correspondence. Commencement. Correspondence is a foundation of any relationship, and the elements of who starts it can unobtrusively shape discernments. While it could appear to be natural to be the essential initiator in the event that you try to be really important, the opposite can frequently turn out as expected when one individual reliably assumes the job of initiator. The other may coincidentally begin to underestimate these endeavors, prompting a steady disintegration of seen significance from the outset. After all, restricting communications initiation might appear counterintuitive. Shouldn't communicating intrigue include effectively connecting? Notwithstanding, the essential retreat from predictable inception fills a particular need. By ceasing from continuously starting to lead the pack, you make a void that prompts the other individual to step into the job of initiator. This unobtrusive shift can have significant ramifications for how they see your importance in their lives. Key retreat includes a cognizant choice to stop being the essential initiator and notice the ensuing dynamic. Assuming the other individual truly esteems the association, they are probably going to perceive the shift and try to connect the correspondence hole. Their recognition of your significance and our shared commitment to maintaining the connection are demonstrated by their natural response. The center of this step lies in laying out certified interest on the two sides. While restricting commencement might want to pull out, it effectively allows the other individual to communicate their advantage in the relationship effectively. This equal commitment supports the credibility of the association, guaranteeing that endeavors to impart are adjusted and intelligent of shared respect. It's significant to take note of that essential retreat in correspondence commencement doesn't suggest aloofness. The objective isn't to make profound distance yet to recalibrate the elements such that cultivates a more adjusted and complementary association. This deliberate delay in the commencement fills in as a greeting for the other individual to take part in the correspondence effectively. Dynamic and essential retreat in correspondence commencement is a determined move toward reshaping the elements of a relationship. By intentionally restricting your job as the essential initiator, you make a space for the other individual to step into that job, mirroring their acknowledgement of your significance. This step is a sensitive dance requiring sharp perception and a nuanced comprehension of common interests. When executed nicely, it turns into an integral asset for cultivating an association where the two players effectively add to its development and upkeep. Stage 8. The specialty of developing individual satisfaction. The charm of finding joy through others is unquestionable, yet it accompanies inborn dangers. Depending entirely on another person for satisfaction makes way for likely dissatisfaction. In addition, as one conforms to the agendas and priorities of the other, this dependency can subvert personal agency, fostering an environment of rape for resentment. To be a priority in someone's life is not just about securing a pause position in their thoughts. It's tied in with contributing decidedly to the general embroidery of their reality. Developing your own bliss is the way to accomplishing this sensitive equilibrium by creating satisfaction from the inside. This won't just defend your drawn-out prosperity yet. In addition, project an atmosphere of equilibrium and confidence that is innately appealing. Independence is a magnet that attracts individuals. At the point when you emanate joy that starts from your own interests, and satisfaction, you become a wellspring of energy in the existences of others. This self-created joy is a greeting for individuals to draw in with you on a more profound level, perceiving that your presence is an improving dependence on their own satisfaction. Developing individual satisfaction includes legitimate commitment with your inclinations, interests, and yearnings. Chasing after exercises that give you pleasure improves your life, as well as adds to the real bliss you project. Your credibility in these pursuits is a reference point that signs to others that you are carrying on with a satisfied life based on your conditions. The expanding influences of individual satisfaction stretch out to relationship elements. At the point when you are content and satisfied autonomously, you carry positive energy to your associations. This energy turns into an indispensable piece of how others see you, supporting that your presence is a wellspring of enhancement instead of reliance. Developing individual joy doesn't discredit the excellence of association and connections. All things being equal, it improves it while people offer a feeling of individual satisfaction of real value. Connections become an amicable dance of shared delights instead of a reliance on outer elements for satisfaction. This equilibrium is the embodiment of turning into a need in the excellent finale of this essential excursion. The spotlight turns internal. Developing your own joy is definitely not a childish undertaking. It is a significant interest in your prosperity, and likewise your connections as you transmit with self-satisfaction. You become a guide that draws in others, welcoming them to partake in the extravagance of an association where every individual's bliss is an energetic string in the embroidery of shared happiness. This step is a festival of individual credibility, satisfaction, and the extraordinary power it holds in the domain of connections. Stage 9. The art of being ready to walk away. Although it can be intimidating and fraught with emotional complexities, distance yourself from someone you care about deeply is an essential step in proving your worth. You send a powerful message that you won't settle for anything less than the respect and priority you rightfully deserve by being prepared to walk away. Being ready to leave is, at its center, a statement of self-esteem. It's a strong decree that your presence is a significant commitment to any relationship. The ideal individual, after perceiving this inborn worth, will normally float towards putting forth attempts to hold you in their life in the domain of activities inside your control. It is of the utmost importance to ensure that your actions reflect moral integrity. Playing games or manipulating one's feelings is not the purpose of this step. Instead, it's about making a promise to do the right thing for your happiness and well-being. Trustworthy acting guarantees that your choices are grounded in legitimacy and genuineness. A critical part of this step is recognizing that only 1 out of every odd activity will be promptly recognized or credited. Individuals may not predictably perceive the worth you bring, particularly on the off chance that they are acclimated with your steady presence. Persistence turns into an excellence as you explore the vulnerabilities of how your preparation to leave will be seen over the long run. Being prepared to leave is an excursion that requires persistence as you step into this domain of sense of pride. It's fundamental to appreciate and recognize your own worth. Develop confidence and an enduring faith in the meaning of your presence. This self-appreciation turns into a directing light as you explore the intricacies of connections after some time. As you reliably maintain your obligation to confidence and focus on your prosperity, individuals will normally start to see the value in your presence. The status to leave fills in as an impetus for an extraordinary change by the way you are seen. It's anything but a prompt prize, yet a steady acknowledgement of your characteristic worth in the embroidery of relationship elements. The preparation to leave is a freeing articulation of confidence. It is an affirmation that your process includes associations that line up with your value. While at first overwhelming, this step unfurls as an extraordinary demonstration. Preparing for connections where you are not just a choice but rather a valued need is a significant excursion into the domain of confidence and affirmation, making way for associations that reverberate with validness and correspondence. Here's the end. To wrap up the thinking of these 9 stages on being really important in others' lives, if it's not too much trouble, attempt to retain it as far as possible. We have all been in situations where we felt neglected or undervalued, but it is essential to keep in mind that our life journey is unique and that the priorities of other people may not accurately reflect our true worth. Rather than permitting these circumstances to influence our confidence, we can involve these minutes as any open doors for self-awareness. The key is to focus on ourselves, dealing with our bliss and prosperity. Ultimately, others will start to notice and give you enough worth. Keep in mind, in any event, when others don't put you at the first spot on their list, you can and ought to give yourself enough need. This isn't narrow-mindedness. Self-love and self-determination are at the heart of it. Thusly, we can construct better connections, pursue choices more lined up with our objectives, and carry on with a seriously satisfying and significant life. Gratitude for watching. Remember to like the video and buy into the channel. Assuming this content is compensating for your life, I'll leave 2 recordings here that you may intrigued by watch. Come back soon. Thank you so much for watching Stoic Energy.